Hi, sure.
William Shakespeare, popularly known as Bard of Avon and also England's national poet, is the most fantastic and eminent poet and playwright in the English language the world has ever witnessed. Immortal plays like Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, Othello, and Macbeth have been beautifully written by by this master storyteller. British drama is incomplete without the mention of Shakespeare's comedy, romance, drama, and tragedy. Here I will briefly tell you about this great literary personality in the history of English language and my experiences with his work and why his work is still prevalent even after 400 years. Shakespeare makes modern culture, and modern culture makes Shakespeare. I could perhaps put the second Shakespeare in quotation marks, so as to indicate that I have in mind is our idea of Shakespeare and of what is Shakespearean. But in fact, it will be my claim that Shakespeare and Shakespeare are perceptually and conceptually the same from the viewpoint of a modern observer. Characters like Romeo, Hamlet, or Lady Macbeth have become cultural types, instantaneously recognizable when their names are invoked. As will become clear, the modern versions of these figures differ significantly from their Shakespearean originals. A Romeo is a persistent romancer and a philanderer rather than a lover. Faithful until unto death, a Hamlet is an indecisive overthinker, and a Lady Macbeth in the public press is an ambitious female politician who will stop at nothing to gain her own ends. But the very changes marked by these appropriations tell a revealing story about modern culture and modern life. I will suggest in what follows that Shakespeare has scripted many of the ideas that we think of as naturally our own and even as naturally true. Ideas about human character, about individuality and selfhood, about government, about men, about women, about youth, and about children, and even age, about the qualities that make a strong leader. Such ideas are not necessarily encountered today in the realm of literature or even of drama or poetry or theatre. Psychology, sociology, political theory, business, medicine, and law all have welcomed and recognized Shakespeare as the founder and authorizer and the forerunner of important categories and practices in their fields. Case studies based on Shakespearean characters and events form an important part of education and theory in leadership institutes and business schools, as well as in the history of psychoanalysis. In this sense, Shakespeare has made modern culture, and modern culture returns the favor that Shakespeare has given to it. And finally, uh, what effect has Shakespeare had on my life? In 2018, I went to Stratford upon Avon, and that is when I fell in love with the English language. Shakespeare was my catalyst for my love towards the English language, and finally, on this occasion of Shakespeare Day, we should remember his legacy and how he shaped the medium of storytelling, poetry, and theatre as a whole, and that is reflected in his museum in Stratford because a lot of other poets and authors are inspired by his work. And a prime example of this in our country is Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore regarded Shakespeare so much that he wrote a poem about him in 1916, and even Rabindranath Tagore's statue is placed at Stratford upon Avon, which goes to show the worldwide influence of Shakespeare. So today on Shakespeare Day, let's remember his famous quotes and learn something from him. Thank you.